Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Here with Dante Nero. Anything you want to plug gig-wise?
I'm going to be at Joker's Wild in 3 months. I'm not sure. You can just check my website.
Where?
It's,
Joker's Wild, where?
my manager's here. I'm trying to...
Oh, wait, there he is. Look at your manager.
In Connecticut?
From the stand. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
In Connecticut?
Yeah, is it the Connecticut one? Yes, the Connecticut one.
That's right. Now, your manager, I noticed he's a smaller guy. Did you ever have to beat him up?
He wants to scrap with me. He always is.
Don't do it, man.
It's like poking the bear for him, though.
Like, what if you just told him, I'm not giving you a commission? What do you think he could possibly do?
Probably nothing.
Nothing.
All three of them.
I mean, honestly, there's three of them.
And they're all the same size.
Honestly, people do honor. It's good that people honor contracts, but think about it. You know, it's like, what if Cecil Fielder or Prince Fielder doesn't want to pay his agent?
It's a wrap.
What's the guy gonna do?
I'm not paying.
Now, do you still keep in contact with any of the girls that used to
A couple of them.
force you to give them money for having sex?
They did it out of the kindness of their heart.
Would they just bring you money too, like a gift?
They would just, it was what they wanted to do. Well, I'll tell you how I ended up getting into it. I was bouncing at a strip club.
Right.
And
So you got a good sort of in with the girls.
yeah,
there.
but I was a male, I told you before, I was a male
that's
stripper.
right, that's
so
right.
I was already in with them, and they passed, when Giuliani passed that RICO law and the Vice law,
Yeah.
where you had
For some reason, that hurt
percentage-
the strip clubs.
Yeah, right. Well, the Vice law where you had to have a certain percentage of your business.
It's not a strip club.
Right, and there was all these Vice rules, so the girls couldn't have sex in the club, and they couldn't be all the way nude if there was alcohol.
Right.
And so I was fighting with them as I was managing the club. I was fighting them because they would give a guy a lap dance and have sex with him in the corner. And I kept fighting with them.
What are you doing?
I was
First
like,
of all, where are
"Stop."
those strippers?
I don't know where.
You're going to the wrong places, evidently.
And I was like, stop having sex. I was
What
fighting.
year are we talking?
Oh, God, probably 90, 91. And I was fighting with them to not have sex. And then I was like, bing, clearly there's a market. They're going to do this
Right.
anyway. And so I just started organizing it from there.
No kidding. Well, you're a bright guy then, too. You're sort of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you just see a
Very
opportunity.
Do you feel if you came up with better sort of circumstances like wealth, you could have went to like the Wharton School of Business and been a great businessman?
I probably could have been a good business guy.
I have that. You seem very intelligent.
People don't understand when you're hustling. You got to be a smart dude because
Of course you do.
You got to be math wise and business wise.
You can't be lazy.
People and everything. You got to be aware of everything.
I always said some mob guys, you go like, why not just get in a regular business? Because you could be real successful in that too. You know?
It is not as fun.
Well, that's true. That's for sure. That's for sure. It could come to an abrupt end, but, who cares after you're 45, 46 anyway. Now, what's the name of your podcast again?
It's called The Beige Phillips Show.
The Beige Phillips Show.
Yeah, it actually was. I did it with Patrice. Him and I did the show before.
Oh, that must have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It was called The Black Phillips Show.
Yeah, Patrice's stuff about women.
Yeah.
He might be the most insightful stand-up comic about women I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious.
Well, we met up, and then we used to, a lot of that stuff we used to talk about on the phone 2, 3 o'clock in the morning constantly. And so he knew what my background was, and we kind of hashed those things out together.
Right.
So that's where it came from.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's commendable that you left the life. Do you make as much money as a comic as you did as a pimp?
No. Absolutely.
So
not.
you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, just you gotta have the heart for that. I mean, you gotta be ice cold for that. Yeah. And I just don't. It comes a time where I just didn't have the stomach.
Can you tell
for
us
it.
a cold thing you had to do or let happen? You don't have
broke a dude's jaw. Broke a dude's jaw.
I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than that. You don't have to.
I broke a dude's jaw.
You did.
Yeah.
Why was he messing with the women?
Yeah, messing with the women, and then I dragged him out to the curb and put his ankle on the curb. And
Okay,
all right.
Okay, we're gonna commercial one. And then I took him and I shaved his head, and made him dance around like a ballerina. Look, man, good for you. If a guy's hitting a woman, they deserve what they
Should
get.
get it.
Right.
Should get it.
All right. I'm gonna take a break. This is fascinating. And Dante Nero, go check him out. Joker's Wild, somewhere in Connecticut. Good manager, doesn't even know.
He knows.
And of course, the Beige Phillips Show. And he'll be on here for as much as he wants. Quite frankly, he wants to host. The Artie Lange Show. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. We were just having an off-air conversation that I doubt you would hear when The View is having commercial. So now, what about the stand-up? How long you been? So you knew Patrice. If Patrice thought you were funny, I guarantee you got something going on.
Yeah.
Do you like the stand-up? Like, how long you want to give this? Do you like the act of going to clubs?
I love
like,
it.
Say you got a gig at the Joker's Wild. That's a fun night, you know, to a lot of people who aren't in show business. But when you're doing it for a while, that can be kind of like, you get up, you go to Connecticut. It's a grind. Do you like doing stand-up?
You know, I'll tell you, one of the things that I learned from Patrice was that he used to always say, like, if you watch him, he was so organic on stage.
He was really an original.
And I would, you know, just used to, he goes against all the rules. And one of the things was he used to say, I'm trying to stay interested in comedy.
Right.
So he's allowing these things to happen.
You have to. If you do the same act for 20 years, you get bored.
Yeah, and so I like to kind of let it.
You got to keep trying new things. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So I got to say, thanks to French Quarters Guest Apartments for being our New York City hotel. Let them be your headquarters in New York City. Go to FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next day. FrenchQuartersNY.com. I just said that because I had to. They pay us. So that's my point with stand-up. Like, why not take a risk?
Yeah.
And make it interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way. Do you find you write better because of that?
A lot of my writing comes from something organic that I've said on stage, and then it becomes a bit from.
Right.
I was on stage and I was asking people where they were from, and it was people from they were from Switzerland.
Right.
And I go and I said from Sweden.
Yeah.
And apparently that's not a good thing.
Oh, they're mad.
Like that's their like Dominican, Puerto Rican thing.
Sorry.
Right. And then I was people from New Zealand. It sounded like I was like, "Oh, you're from Australia?" And no, man, I'm out there. So that's there. So I ended up. I was like, "Well, who are your Mexicans?" Right. And I created this bit, which is really explicative about each international country and who are the people.
Right beneath
that
them.
they crap on.
Yeah, right. But that's true.
Yeah.
You know, you hate to say that about society, but you look at America's history.
Yeah.
Everybody who got off the boat was crapped on by the people who just got off the boat 2 months before.
Exactly.
Like the Irish did it to the blacks,
Exactly.
Italians, everybody. And, you know, as you got further in life, we were okay.
Here's crazy. I just read this thing about the Irish, that Irish were actually shackled as slaves.
Oh, people did not like them.
We're not talking about indentured servants, but I mean actually sold as slaves during the Atlantic slave trade.
Sure, absolutely.
Like 500,000.
They were not considered white.
Wait.
And
So
Italians weren't either.
What year are we talking?
You're talking
1980?
about prior to, right before St. Patty's Day. No, right when England was still involved in the slave trade.
Yeah, no, it was 1700. Sure, the Irish were like, because then they came over here because of the potato famine, and they were considered like diseased and stuff like that. Italians went through it a lot,
But Irish were actually not even. I don't mean even indentured slaves, like where they worked, and paid for their room and board. I'm saying they were actually shackled.
Wow.
And
so
traded.
Worse type of slavery than a lot of like even the blacks in this country.
Well, actually Irish they got sold for less money because they couldn't stand out in the sun.
That's hilarious.
So they got
That's unbelievable.
That's the worst.
If you look it up,
Fascinating
it's like
stuff,
500,000.
You think about it. It's so great that we've evolved because there's nothing worse. Imagine being a human being that gets sold somewhere.
Yeah,
that is terrible. Well, listen, man. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
Come anytime. You're funny.
I appreciate you having me.
You're fascinating. Come back. Quite frankly, what am I tell you? No. No, but please, you're welcome anytime, Dante.
Thanks, man.
And check out the podcast.
Beige Phillips.
Daryl Hammond, amazing job. Thanks so much. Of course, Dante Nero and Casey Stern, thanks for being on the show. Back tomorrow. Take care.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.